Imagine a world where giants roamed the earth, skies filled with strange reptiles, and every corner of the land echoed with calls both thunderous and delicate. That world, the Mesozoic era, was home to an astonishing array of dinosaurs, creatures that varied from the size of a chicken to skyscrapers of bone and muscle. In this journey through time, we will meet the most famous of these animals, each a testament to evolution's creativity. Let us begin with the undisputed celebrity of dinosaur pop culture, Tyrannosaurus rex. Living at the very end of the Cretaceous period, roughly 68 to 66 million years ago in western North America, T-Rex was a tyrant lizard king indeed. Adults measured up to 40 feet long, stood 15 to 20 feet tall at the hips, and wielded a 5-foot skull packed with serrated, banana-sized teeth capable of crushing bone. For decades, paleontologists debated whether this predator was a pure scavenger or an active hunter. Modern evidence supports a mixed strategy. T-Rex likely ambushed hadrosaurs and ceratopsians, using its powerful legs to sprint short distances, while also stealing kills when the opportunity arose. Its tiny, two-fingered arms seem comical, but they could still curl over 400 pounds, perhaps useful for holding struggling prey. With binocular vision rivaling that of a hawk, an incredible sense of smell, and a bite force that could puncture a car roof, T-Rex remains the ultimate terrestrial carnivore. Moving from the predator to its frequent adversary, we encounter Triceratops horridus, the three-horned face that shared T-Rex's time and place. This ceratopsian dinosaur is one of the most recognizable animals ever to live. Adults reached about 30 feet long and weighed up to 12 tons, making them formidable prey. The skull alone could be over 8 feet, featuring a bony frill that protected the neck and likely served as a display structure for attracting mates or intimidating rivals. Two massive brow horns up to 3 feet in length pointed forward, while a smaller nose horn sat between them. Contrary to old depictions, Triceratops did not move like a rhinoceros. Its legs were straight beneath its body, allowing a surprisingly agile gallop when needed. Bone beds suggest these animals lived in herds, at least sometimes, and their beak-like mouths sheared through tough cycads, palms, and ferns. When T-Rex attacked, Triceratops could stand its ground, forming a defensive ring of horns and frills, much like modern musk oxen. Fossil evidence of healed bite marks on Triceratops skulls confirms that many individuals survived predator encounters, making this dinosaur a worthy champion in the battle for survival. No tour of famous dinosaurs would be complete without the cunning velociraptor, though you might be surprised by the real animal versus its movie star image. Velociraptor mongoliensis lived about 75 to 71 million years ago in what is now Mongolia's Gobi Desert. Far from the man-sized creatures of Jurassic Park, real velociraptors were only about the size of a turkey, roughly 6 feet long but weighing only 30 to 40 pounds. However, what they lacked in size, they made up for in lethal precision. This dromaeosaurid dinosaur possessed a large, sickle-shaped claw on each second toe, held off the ground while walking. When attacking, the claw would slash downward, cutting through flesh and perhaps even gripping prey. Velociraptor was covered in feathers, as confirmed by fossil quill knobs on its arm bones, making it look more like a terrifying bird than a scaly lizard. Its brain was large relative to its body, hinting at complex behavior and possible pack hunting, though direct evidence of coordinated packs remains debated. One famous fossil, nicknamed the Fighting Dinosaurs, captures a velociraptor locked in combat with a protoceratops, their skeletons intertwined forever. This small but fierce predator reminds us that dinosaurs were not all giants. Some were feathered, fast, and intelligent. Now travel back in time to the Jurassic period, about 155 to 150 million years ago, to meet Stegosaurus, the plated dinosaur of North America. Stegosaurus stenops is an icon of oddity. A four-legged herbivore with 2 rows of alternating kite-shaped plates running from neck to tail, and a thagomizer, 4 to 8 lethal spikes at the tail's end. Reaching up to 30 feet long and weighing 5 to 7 tons, this dinosaur had a brain the size of a walnut, leading to the old myth that it had a second brain in its hip. In reality, the hip cavity may have housed a glycogen body, a structure found in modern birds for storing energy. The plates themselves remain a mystery. They were likely covered in keratin, the same material as fingernails, and could have been used for temperature regulation, defense, or display. Blood vessel grooves on the plates suggest they could flush with color, turning bright red during mating season or to scare off rivals. Stegosaurus walked on 4 short, sturdy legs, with hind legs much longer than front legs, giving it a sloping posture. Despite its slow appearance, it could pivot quickly to swing its spiked tail like a medieval flail, delivering devastating wounds to predators like Allosaurus. Fossil evidence of Allosaurus tail wounds matches Stegosaurus spikes perfectly, proving that this plated dinosaur was no peaceful pushover. Speaking of giants, the sauropods represent the largest land animals ever, and Brachiosaurus altithorax stands among the most famous. Living about 154 to 150 million years ago in North America, Brachiosaurus was a true colossus, up to 85 feet long, 40 feet tall at the head, and weighing perhaps 60 to 80 tons. Its name means arm lizard, referring to its unusually long front legs, which were taller than its hind legs, a trait that set it apart from other sauropods like Diplodocus. This body plan raised its shoulders, allowing it to hold its neck nearly vertically like a giraffe. By doing so, Brachiosaurus could browse on treetops up to 40 feet high, reaching vegetation inaccessible to other herbivores. Nostrils on top of its head, originally thought to be snorkels underwater, were actually just normal nostrils. The idea that sauropods lived in swamps has been abandoned. Instead, they were fully terrestrial, with column-like legs and padded feet. Their teeth were chisel-like, stripping leaves from branches rather than chewing. To process food, Brachiosaurus swallowed gastroliths, stomach stones, that ground plant material in its gut. These immense animals lived in herds, moving constantly to find fresh forage, and their eggs were surprisingly small, only about the size of a grapefruit. The enormous size of Brachiosaurus was a defense in itself. No predator could take down a healthy adult. But some predators challenged even sauropods. Enter Spinosaurus aegyptiacus, the largest carnivorous dinosaur ever discovered, and one of the most bizarre. Living about 100 to 95 million years ago in North Africa, Spinosaurus measured up to 50 to 60 feet long and weighed 7 to 20 tons. Estimates vary widely. Its most distinctive feature was the series of enormous neural spines extending from its vertebrae, forming a sail-like structure or perhaps a hump, reaching over 6 feet tall. This sail may have been used for thermoregulation, display, or even to make the dinosaur appear larger. Yet the strangest discoveries came in the 2010s. Spinosaurus had short, powerfully built hind legs, dense bones, and a long crocodilian snout with conical teeth, all adaptations for a semi-aquatic lifestyle. Isotope evidence from its teeth suggests it spent much of its time in water, hunting large fish like coelacanths and sawfish, as well as any terrestrial prey that came too close. Its nostrils were set high on the skull, allowing it to breathe while partially submerged, and its tail was shaped like a paddle, laterally flattened for swimming. This makes Spinosaurus the only known dinosaur adapted for active aquatic pursuit, a stark contrast to the purely terrestrial T-Rex. It lived alongside other giant predators like Carcharodontosaurus, but each occupied different ecological niches. Spinosaurus ruled the rivers. Returning to the Jurassic, we meet Allosaurus fragilis, the different lizard that was the top predator of its time, about 155 to 145 million years ago in North America and Europe. Allosaurus was the T-Rex of the Jurassic, reaching up to 40 feet long and weighing 2.5 tons. It was agile, with long arms and three-fingered hands tipped with sharp claws. Its skull was lightweight, with a unique feature, a weak jaw joint that allowed it to open its mouth extremely wide, like a snake, and then use its upper jaw like a hatchet to slash down into prey. This hatchet bite inflicted massive bleeding wounds on sauropods and stegosaurs. Allosaurus fossils are abundant in the Morrison Formation, especially at the Cleveland Lloyd Dinosaur Quarry in Utah, where thousands of bones from dozens of individuals have been found. This concentration suggests Allosaurus may have been a pack hunter, or that the site was a predator trap where animals became mired in mud. Bite marks on Allosaurus bones, including skulls, hint at intraspecific combat, perhaps fights over territory or mates. Unlike the robust T-Rex, Allosaurus was built for speed and grace, with light, pneumatic bones, air-filled like birds. It likely ambushed prey from cover, using its powerful hind limbs to run down even agile ornithopods. A true classic of the Jurassic, Allosaurus remains a favorite among paleontologists for its fierce efficiency. Now meet the tank of the dinosaur world, Ankylosaurus magniventris. Living at the very end of the Cretaceous, about 68 to 66 million years ago in North America, this ankylosaurid was the last and largest of its kind, measuring up to 33 feet long and weighing 6 to 8 tons. Its entire back was covered in osteoderms, bony plates embedded in the skin, forming a near-impenetrable armor that even included bony eyelids. The most famous feature, however, is the tail club, a mass of fused bone at the end of a stiff, muscular tail that could swing with devastating force. Computer models suggest a full swing could generate enough energy to shatter the leg bones of a T-Rex. The club was not just a weapon but also a display item. It may have been adorned with keratin spikes. Ankylosaurus had a wide, low-slung body with a beak and small leaf-shaped teeth for cropping low-growing ferns and shrubs. Its legs were short but powerful, allowing it to pivot quickly despite its bulk. Surprisingly, the armor was not completely solid. Gaps allowed flexibility, and the belly was unarmored, so Ankylosaurus would have avoided flipping over at all costs. Fossils of Ankylosaurus are rare compared to other dinosaurs. Only a handful of specimens have been found, possibly because they lived in habitats less conducive to preservation. Nevertheless, this living fortress represents the ultimate evolutionary response to tyrannosaur predation. From armored giants to crested communicators, we turn to Parasaurolophus walkeri, the famous hadrosaurid from the late Cretaceous of North America, about 76 to 73 million years ago. Recognizable by its long, backward-curving tube-like crest, Parasaurolophus was a duck-billed dinosaur reaching 30 to 40 feet long and weighing 2.5 to 3 tons. The crest, which could be over 5 feet long in some species, was hollow and connected to the nasal passages. For decades, paleontologists speculated about its function, and now we know it was a resonating chamber. By blowing air through its complicated internal tubing, Parasaurolophus could produce deep, loud, low-frequency sounds that traveled for miles through dense Cretaceous forests. These calls likely served to herd members together, warn of predators, or attract mates. Computer tomography scans of the crest have allowed scientists to synthesize what the dinosaur might have sounded like. A haunting, resonant tone similar to a brass instrument or a foghorn. In addition to its acoustic abilities, Parasaurolophus could also change the pitch by adjusting the length of the vocal tract, giving it a surprisingly complex language. This herbivore walked on both 2 legs and 4, feeding on conifers and flowering plants with its battery of hundreds of self-sharpening teeth. Its eyes were on the sides of its head, providing panoramic vision to spot danger. Parasaurolophus lived in large herds, and its social life must have been a symphony of horn-like calls echoing across the floodplains. Venturing south to South America, we encounter one of the strangest predators, Carnotaurus sastrae. Living about 72 to 69 million years ago in Argentina, this abelosaurid theropod is famous for 2 things: its bull-like horns and its ridiculously tiny arms. Carnotaurus reached about 25 to 30 feet long and weighed 1.5 to 2 tons. Its skull was short and deep, with 2 thick horns protruding above the eyes, made of bone and likely covered in keratin. These horns were probably used for headbutting contests between males, much like modern rams. But the arms steal the show. They were so reduced that the forearm was barely longer than the upper arm, and the 4-fingered hand had no claws except possibly a tiny thumb. These arms were practically useless, perhaps even vestigial. Yet Carnotaurus was no pushover. It was built for speed, with long, slender hind legs and a stiffened tail that acted as a counterbalance. Skin impressions show that Carnotaurus had a mosaic of scales with rows of large, bumpy osteoderms running down its sides, giving it a reptilian, almost crocodilian texture. Its jaw could open extremely wide, but its bite force was relatively weak. Instead, it likely used a slash-and-tear method, similar to Komodo dragons. Carnotaurus was the top predator of its Patagonian ecosystem, preying on small to medium-sized sauropods like Amargasaurus. Its unique appearance makes it a favorite in movies and documentaries, though its comical arms deserve a laugh, a reminder that evolution sometimes takes bizarre paths. Among the most enigmatic dinosaurs is Therizinosaurus coloniformis, whose name means scythe lizard, and for good reason. Living about 70 million years ago in Mongolia and China, this theropod is a baffling anomaly. It was enormous, reaching up to 33 feet long and weighing 5 tons, with a pot-bellied torso, long neck, and small head. Its most striking features are its forelimbs, which were up to 8 feet long, ending in 3 fingers bearing claws that could exceed 3 feet in length, the longest known claws of any animal. These scythe-like claws were not for fighting in the typical predator sense, because Therizinosaurus was a herbivore. It used its claws to hook and pull branches of leaves into its small, toothless beak. The claws may also have been used for defense, displaying, or even digging. For decades, this dinosaur confused experts. Its fossils were initially mistaken for a giant turtle. It belongs to the theropod group, but unlike meat-eating relatives, it evolved a specialized plant-based diet, convergent with sauropods. Its bones showed that it walked slowly, with a dangerous waddle due to its heavy gut. Feather impressions from relatives like Bapiosaurus reveal that Therizinosaurus was probably covered in shaggy, primitive feathers, making it look like a giant, feathered sloth with claws of nightmare. This gentle giant lived alongside Velociraptor and Protoceratops, but its sheer size and weapons meant few predators would dare attack an adult. Therizinosaurus reminds us that not all dinosaurs fit easy categories. Evolution loves experimentation. Another herbivore with a specialized weapon comes in the form of Pachycephalosaurus wyomingensis, the thick-headed lizard. Living at the very end of the Cretaceous, about 66 million years ago in North America, this bipedal dinosaur is famous for its dome-shaped skull, up to 10 inches thick, surrounded by bony knobs and spikes. Reaching about 15 feet long and weighing perhaps 1,000 pounds, Pachycephalosaurus walked on two legs with a stiff tail for balance. The iconic dome has led to a long-standing hypothesis. These dinosaurs engaged in headbutting contests, much like modern bighorn rams or musk oxen. But recent biomechanical studies suggest that the skull shape might not have been ideal for direct impact. The dome is curved, and the neck vertebrae show limited shock absorption. Instead, they may have butted each other in the flanks or hips, using the dome as a blunt instrument for pushing contests, not high-speed collisions. Another possibility is that the dome served as a visual display, allowing individuals to recognize species or signal sexual maturity. The skull's interior is filled with dense, cancellous bone, like a sponge, which could absorb some shock but not repeated high-force hits. Unfortunately, no complete skeletons have been found, so much remains unknown. Pachycephalosaurus lived alongside T-Rex and Triceratops, and its small leaf-shaped teeth suggest a mixed diet of leaves, seeds, and perhaps insects. This dinosaur's bizarre appearance, a bald, bony head on a reptilian body, captures the imagination and fuels debates about how far animal combat can push evolution. To appreciate the full range of dinosaur sizes, we end with one of the smallest and most charming, Compsognathus longipes. Living about 150 million years ago in Europe, this little theropod was about the size of a chicken, roughly 3 feet from nose to tail tip, but weighing only 2 to 6 pounds. Its name means elegant jaw, referring to its delicate pointed skull filled with tiny, sharp teeth. Compsognathus is famous for being one of the first dinosaurs known from relatively complete fossils, discovered in Germany's Solnhofen limestone in the 1850s. These fossils show remarkable preservation, including the outline of skin and, in one specimen, a tiny lizard preserved inside its stomach, direct evidence of its diet. This agile predator ran on 2 long, slender legs, using its hands with 2 fingers to grasp small prey like insects, lizards, and perhaps early mammals. Feathers have not been directly preserved in Compsognathus, but close relatives like Sinosauropteryx show that Compsognathids were feathered. So Compsognathus likely had a coat of simple, downy filaments. In movies, Compsognathus is often portrayed as a pack-hunting menace that swarms larger animals, but in reality, it was a solitary, shy creature that avoided confrontation. Its small size allowed it to fill an ecological niche ignored by giants, the role of a tiny, fast, insectivorous and lizard-eating hunter. Compsognathus reminds us that dinosaurs were not always colossal. They thrived at every scale, from the multi-ton sauropod to the chicken-sized feathered sprinter. As we close our 10-minute journey through the Mesozoic, we have met tyrants, tanks, giants, and oddballs. Each one tells a story of survival, adaptation, and the sheer wondrous diversity of life that once ruled our planet, and their legacy continues to inspire scientists and dreamers alike.